Let's discuss about why Canada is such a great place to study and why are thousands of students still choosing the land of the maple leaf. Please be till the end of this video and I'll tell you everything about Canada education. So, on the first note, Canada is the literally only one country which has such a well-versed pathway to essentially getting from studying to PGWP and eventually to your PR, Permanent Residency, which is essentially your green card to stay in Canada forever, and you can even become a Canadian citizen after your PR too. On a geographical note, Canada has a total 9 provinces, and imagine studying in those vibrant, safe and super multicultural cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. You will instantly feel welcomed like a home, and the plus, country itself is full of breathtaking places to explore during breaks like Canadian Rockies, Banff National Park, Vancouver, Niagara Falls, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Nova Scotia and many more. And most amazingly, Canada has a pathway to sponsor your family, and I'm not talking about your spouse and your children, which by the way most of the countries anyway allow, but you can even bring your parents and grandparents and anyone in your family to Canada with you, and that's an ability that almost no country boasts about. Now let's come to the part what Canada has, right? So Canada has the most top-notch universities like University of Toronto, University of Alberta, Windsor, Waterloo, Calgary, and you must be all heard about the Queen's University from Elon Musk studies, right? So this all are in Canada, and also top of that, Canada is one of the very limited countries that allow you to have a 3-year postgraduate work permit after your degree. Now let's talk about the admission requirement. All the percentage students are always welcome in Canada. If you have a 50 to 55 percentage, you can get an admission in diploma. If you have 60 to 65, you can get an admission in a bachelor. And if you have 70% and above, you can get an admission in masters. However, all these requirements, you must need to most important thing, which is LOA, the letter of acceptance, and the PAR, the provincial attestance letter. Now, the second major important part of Canada education is language proficiency. Canada accepts IELTS, PT, TOEFL, all languages for the visa purpose. However, the education purpose requirement is lenient at some extent as they accept MOI and Duolingo too for the application. Now come to the intake and courses. Canada has a major 3 intakes, Jan, September and May. Jan and September are the major intake and the May is the tiny one. Computer, AI, technology related courses. If you talk about engineering like mechanical, electrical, civil, or if you talk about the health courses like physiology, pharmacy, health, gerontology, all these courses you can find in all 3 intakes. However, if you talk about the recent trends like trade courses, plumbing, fitting, welding, all this you can find it in a Jan and September major intake. And if you talk about the recent flow of Canada, if you are working in a skilled trades and high demanding sectors which falls into the Knock-4 criteria 0 to 4, then students have the opportunity to get the PR faster. Okay, so now let's understand the finances of Canada. If we talk about the annual tuition fees of UG programs, means bachelor, diploma, advanced diploma, that will be start from $15,000 to $25,000 per annum. And if we are talking about the master's degree, then it starts from $18,000 to somewhere end up into the $35,000 per annum. So it's really depend upon the universities and courses which you take. The second most important part of the Canada finance is GIC, the Guaranteed Investment Certificate. In this process, students need to open an account in a Canadian bank like Scotia, RBC, CIBC, SBI, ICICI, etc. This facility is only for students for their own savings, in which they need to pay $20,895 Canadian dollar and once they landed in Canada, they can withdraw the certain amounts in every month for their own living expense. Okay, so if you are talking about the finance, we should not forget the most important topic. It's ROI, the return of investment, which most of the students wants to talk about it. So in that perspective, Canada has a very systematic plan for the students in which they provide 3 years of postgraduate work permit, which leads the student to get the PR in just less than 5 years. When students comes to Canada on a study permit, they can work part-time 20 hours a week and full-time 40 hours a week during the breaks with the Canada's strong minimum wages that they can earn $1,500 to $2,500 per month, and after the graduations on PGWP, student can work full-time with no hours limit. Students' monthly living expenses are usually around $800 to $1,000 per month, and since the GIC is already covers the first year of living expense and cost easily, so that student can recover the investments within 5 years. And once you have enough Canadian study and work experience, you can also apply to permanent residency through express entry or provincial programs, giving you the chance to settle in Canada for the long term. Students, if you want more detailed information regarding the Canadian education and the permanent residency, how you can apply, please visit Edge International.